Hey everyone, this is PM Sport Talk, the father and son duo podcast. I'm your host Preston, alongside my father Mike and Dad. How are we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. We had I would say a disappointing day in football yesterday for a lot of us, but let's get into it and discuss what happened.
All right, so we got one game to go over right now. Eagles and Commanders to start off. This one, it was a great season for the Commanders, but the luck finally ran out, and the Eagles dominated this game. Commanders, they hung in there. They started to throw some punches back, but Eagles ran away with it by a lot. But you cannot be upset if you're a Commanders fan. This was a great season for them. A lot better than they were expecting, I would think. But the Eagles were just better yesterday.
Yeah, great season for Washington. Nobody thought they'd get this far. But they just ran into a better team. Philadelphia is a very good team. In my opinion, they're probably the best team in football, minus the quarterback. The rest of their team is excellent. Their defensive line is good. Their offensive line is very good. Their receivers are excellent. Their running back, obviously, is excellent. They have a great secondary and defense, and they have a very good tight end.
You just said without the quarterback, you don't think Hurts is very good?
No, he's good, but he's not great. He's not Mahomes. He's not Allen. He's not Burrow.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, he's good enough to get them in winning situations.
Yeah, he's good enough to win. I mean, he showed that 2 years ago in the Super Bowl that, he's good enough to win. He went toe for toe with Mahomes. He actually probably played better than Mahomes for most of that game. But the last couple years, he's kind of regressed a little. I know he wasn't healthy and all, but I think he is what he is. I mean, he's a good quarterback, maybe a very good quarterback. He's not on that elite level like some of those guys are, but hey, you can win with him. There's been quarterbacks that in the past that, they were not what they were just average quarterbacks that won Super Bowls. So you definitely can win. If you have the rest of your team is really good, you can win with him. And he's a dual threat quarterback, which helps. So absolutely. But as far as this game goes, yeah, I mean, the Commanders made it close there after a rocky start. They got close and, they went for two and didn't get it. And then, the Eagles kind of pulled away a little bit, and then it really never got close after that. So, yeah, it was pretty much – they didn't dominate it at first. I mean, they were the better team. But then I think that fourth quarter, they just – that was just too much for Washington. And turnovers really – is what the story of the game.
They kept dropping the ball way too much. They couldn't hold on to the ball. Yeah. Daniels played good besides the interception. You can only ask for so much from a rookie, having him throw 48 passes.
Yeah, I mean, their run game wasn't that good. Eckler was fumbling. And the turnovers. I mean, when you have that many turnovers, it just deflates the team. And it's just too hard to come by. Philadelphia is too good. You need to win the turnover battle against them to win. And when you lose it by, I don't know how many they lost, 3 or 4? They had at least 3 fumbles, and the interception, that's 4. So, you just can't win like that.
What's crazy about this game is the Eagles had 229 rushing yards. Well, they were without their starting center, Cam Jurgens, so they moved Landon Dickerson there, and they probably had one of their best rushing days of the season.
Yeah, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And he was out there. He could barely walk, and he was still playing center, which is phenomenal. I don't know the extent of to his injury, so we'll see what that effect that has on that Super Bowl. But as far as this game goes, yeah, what a gut check game for him. Even their starting center actually came in towards I don't know if it was the third quarter because Dickerson just couldn't go anymore. Maybe it was the fourth, I don't know, but he came in and ended up finishing the game, I believe. So, yeah, little issues there, which is a big deal. So hopefully they get that straightened out.
They got a week, though, right?
They got 2 weeks. So.
2 weeks.
So hopefully one of those guys is good and healthy to go, and because they're going to need that running game against the Chiefs.
So we do have one other game to go over, but there's some news in the NBA that I'd like to bring about. Earlier today, Jimmy Butler was suspended indefinitely by the Miami Heat. He walked out of team shoot-arounds this morning or today because they went up to him and they approached him and said, hey, we're going forward with Haywood Highsmith and you're going to come off the bench. He obviously didn't like hearing that he's coming off the bench, so he walked out and the Heat suspended him yet again. Yeah. It's going to be it's going to be very hard for the Heat to trade him now with all these suspensions and all these actions he's gone on. I'm sure someone will take him, but the Heat have to take what they can get if they get an offer for him. He's
the definition of diva.
Mm-hmm.
Look in the dictionary, it says Jimmy Butler for diva. A lot of teams I would say yes that they would trade him, but I don't know. Pat Riley's old school. He's one of those guys that I'm not just going to trade you because you want to be traded.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be shocked at all if he just has him suspended the rest of the year and then maybe trades him in the offseason. I don't think he's going to give Jimmy Butler what he wants, which is to go to a team and win a team that is competing and win for championship. I don't think Pat Riley is going to do that unless he gets some outrageous trade offer for him. I don't think he will. I really don't. He's that type of guy. He is just different, and he's not going to give Butler what he wants. The way Butler has conducted himself, I want to trade, so I'm going to do everything I can to sabotage his team. Basically,
you brought up this story. Speaking of the divas, you told me this story where in the NBA Finals 2 years ago against the Nuggets, all of his team was staying in a hotel. And Butler, meanwhile, was set in a mansion in, Los Angeles?
No, this was in, they were playing the Nuggets.
Yeah.
So it was in Denver, somewhere in Denver.
Somewhere in Denver, he was in a mansion?
Apparently, it was like 30 miles away from the stadium, or the arena. So he had no contact with the team when other than going to the game or, who does that? The rest of your team is in a hotel being a team,
mm-hmm.
and you're being an individual in some mansion. You've got all off season to go hang out in a mansion, your own mansion. Why do you have to do it then?
This is the NBA Finals. Come on.
Why do you need to be in a mansion there? I don't get it. It just shows he's not a team guy. He can say he is, but he's not. And I've never liked Jimmy Butler. I always thought he was a diva or whatever you want to call him. But he takes the regular season off and just thinks, he's going to go play in the playoffs. That's not being a teammate. You need to be there for your team from the beginning to the end. And if I was a teammate of his, I'd be like, good riddance. See ya.
If I'm Pat Riley, I'm trading him or suspending him for the rest of the season. I don't want him anywhere near my team if I'm Pat Riley. I think this is a team, if we can, I haven't been paying attention to standings, so I'd like to see where the Heat are in the standings. But if the Heat are still in the run for maybe a play-in spot, this is a team that can go get it done. I mean, Jimmy Butler didn't play like almost all of last year, and they still got it done with guys like Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, those guys who actually want to show up for their team. Terry Rozier's still there getting buckets for them at point guard. I mean, this is a team that they're fine without Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's old. That playoff run he had was good with playoff Jimmy, but this is a team that can go get it done without him.
Well, they can make the playoffs, but
I'm just saying, like, they can make a run at the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're in the top 10, so they're in that play-in thing. At least they were last I checked. But yeah, I really feel like Pat Riley's going to suspend him, and that's where he's going to stay. Unless some team offers a lot to get him.
I don't even think Jimmy Butler is the best player on this team. I think Adebayo is better than him. So he's not even the best player on his team, acting like he's Michael Jordan or LeBron James. I mean,
That's what he thinks he is. And
this is ridiculous.
He's a good player, but he's not on their level, but he thinks he is on their
It's
level.
killing the team, and he's just got to stay suspended or stay away from the team in general.
A lot of superstars don't play as many games as they should in the regular season, but I don't think any of them take it to the level that he does.
This is what happens. He talks so much. Last year in the first round against Boston, he kept saying, "Oh, I'm coming back. I'm coming back from my ankle injury, and we're gonna whoop Boston." They lost that series 4-1. So Buddy's talking for his team, and he's not playing. This is a guy that only cares about himself, and it's really sad to see that in today's sports and going away from team.
Go look at LeBron James. How old is he? Is he 40 now?
Mm-hmm.
He plays a ton of games for a guy that's 40 years old in the NBA, and he's won championships. He has nothing to prove, absolutely nothing, and he's still out there playing, giving it his best. Does he take a night off here and there? Yeah, but nothing like Jimmy Butler, and he's 100 times the player Jimmy Butler ever thought of being. So I just don't understand it. I really don't, and that's why he's suspended. And if I was a team, I wouldn't want him, but there's probably going to be somebody out there that will.
Yeah.
Just because they think that, we can get the best out of him for a playoff run or something. But I don't know if Raleigh will trade him unless it's something that he really wants.
Yeah, I think his Miami career is overdone. Yeah, it's getting sad. He's not, like you said, not who he thinks he is, and this is the way he acts, and it's sad because he's a talented player. It's not like he's some terrible player. He's a talented player, but he's letting his attitude get in the way of things, which it sucks to see when someone does that in today's sports.
I'm not sure how old he is, but he's not young anymore. But I mean, he's not old, but he's probably 31, 32, something like that.
Yeah,
maybe?
I think so.
So as far as NBA goes, he's starting to get up there in age. Most players aren't like LeBron and play until they're 40. So when they start getting into their low 30s, that's when it starts to tail off for most guys. Mm-hmm. And so his best years are probably behind him, or right now, and he's wasting it by being a diva. So he's hurting his team, he's hurting himself, and for what? I don't understand why. I just don't.
It makes no sense. But with that being said, Butler suspended indefinitely, and that's where we are right now. So we go on to Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City, the AFC Championship game that took place. The Kansas City Chiefs get it done again, but I watched this game, and I'm not really mad at this. I'm not. I mean, the Bills didn't do what they needed to do to win. The amount of people I see on Bills fans are insufferable. I'm sorry, but I know watching last week we were saying the Chiefs, it's getting old. I mean, it is still, but this game was not handed to them by the refs at all. I'll say that. This game was not given to them by the refs at all. That QB sneak with Josh Allen, that is your fault. You have ran a QB sneak that game, 4 times prior to that? And you decided to run a 5th time, and it has not worked at all this game. And you even developed this tush-push launch thing where Allen goes up and over, and he almost fumbles the ball away. But the tush-push was just not working, and I hated the way Joe Brady called this game, the offensive coordinator for Buffalo, because what it seemed like he was doing, he was trying so hard. It seemed like he wasn't calling the right plays. He was trying to make this Allen's game. He was trying to make this a memorable Josh Allen game, and he was trying to have that done when beating the Chiefs. Can I ask you a question? Dad, you were watching that game, right? How much times did you see James Cook on the field the final drive?
That would be 0.
And you look at those stats, 13 attempts, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's one of the only reasons you were in that game. And Brady doesn't have him in the game. He has Ray Davis in the game. I mean, he's talented, but James Cook, he has been your guy when Allen is not having his MVP superstar performance. He played great, but it was kind of like a casual performance for him. And when you have a game changer on your last drive, your last gasp to go to the Super Bowl, sitting on the sideline and watching, I mean, what are we doing, Bills? What are we doing? And as far as the QB sneak goes, like I was getting into, I've seen Bills fans post about it all over social media and stuff. Not one time have I seen an angle where the ball was being shown. Every single post they post is Josh Allen's body over the yellow line they show on the CBS broadcast. Because they did show an angle with the ball. It wasn't obviously that he got it. I mean, he probably did, but it wasn't some outrageous call where you can blame the refs for this game. And I will say that interception, that was an interception or incomplete pass with the Cole Bishop and Xavier Worthy, but that was at the beginning of the game. You got a game plan around that. You know that's coming. You know something's coming.
Yes, that play really, if you think about it, he challenged that play. But even if he would have won that challenge, Kansas City still would have had the ball at the 18-yard line with a first down because there was a penalty on Buffalo.
Yeah.
So, in essence, if you look at it, Kansas City was going to score there anyway. So what happened is they scored quicker. It's at the end of the half, which gave Buffalo a chance to go down and end up scoring a touchdown before the half ended. So in essence, that almost worked out better for you. So that play to me means nothing. Yes, yeah, maybe it hit the ground, whatever, but in the grand scheme of the outcome of the game, that play meant nothing. So I don't want anybody talking about that play. Yeah, doesn't matter. Had nothing to do with the game. The play that you referenced earlier with the spot on the 4th and 1, 4th and a half yard, wherever it was. Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, and our good friend, what's his name? Gene Steratore, the referee, the rules guy that they have in the booth. Gene said that he felt that it was a first down, but like you said, it was very close, and those are hard plays to get turned over. I don't have a problem with them not on the replay turning it over because it was so close. And the helmet from the defensive player.
I mean, let's be honest. The call in the field there, it's staying. It's not getting changed.
The helmet from the defensive player blocked the ball.
Yeah.
You couldn't quite tell yes, it looked like it was over the line. But the only real issue I have with that was the fact that when they marked the play originally, the referee that had the best angle at it marked it as a first down. The other referee coming from the other sideline is the one that marked it short, and they went with him, and he didn't.
That was very dumb. That was bad because like I said before, you have to be looking at the ball, and that guy had a terrible angle. So why on earth would you go with him?
That's the problem I have with it. Not so much the replay, because like you said, the way replay is designed, you pretty much have to go with the call on the field because there's not conclusive evidence to overturn it. But when you have one guy spotting it, and the guy that spotted it from the side that had the view of the ball, he spotted it like way over the line. Like the other guy was like, they were like a half-yard difference between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they went with the guy that was short, obviously, which that's the only problem I have with that. But like you said, it's Buffalo put themselves in that they did to themselves. It was 4th and a yard, and you called the same play that you've called all game long that hasn't worked. You have to do something different. Just because Philadelphia can do the tush push and it works doesn't mean you can. It's not really Allen's game. Jalen Hurts gets low, goes under the center almost, or right beside him. Josh Allen, if you noticed on those plays, he was standing straight up on a lot of those. he had no chance to get those.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City's defensive line is good, and I'll gotta give Romo credit, which I hardly ever do because he annoys me to no end. But he said it on the broadcast multiple times that Kansas City, in their meetings, Kansas City knew that Buffalo Allen likes to go left on those sneaks, and they lined up their defense accordingly. And every time, that's what Allen did. He went left, and he got stacked up immediately every time. You got to call something different. Look at Mahomes when they had those 4th and 1s. He would roll out. He's got all that sideline to make a move and make the defense have to make a big-time play to get him. Whereas Buffalo's just trying to run it in right up the gut.
The
there.
play calling was
no
terrible,
sense.
terrible. And the last drive, the play before the 2-minute warning, it was 3rd down, I think, and it was 3rd and 10, 3rd and 10, and they run a screen pass with Amari Cooper approaching the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I think the problem was they couldn't block them. They were getting in on Allen so fast on that drive that I think that's why they called that screen.
Spagnuolo, he did a great job calling defense. I'd say he's the best defense coordinator in the game.
He is right now, because they have good players on defense, but they're not that good. They win that by scheme and by him, because he knows exactly where to put these guys in play. Obviously, they have McDuffie. He's a great corner and all that. But the rest of their players are just good players. They don't
Chris Jones, too.
Chris Jones. But they don't have a ton of superstars on that defense. George Kalafidis and Chanot and Charles Omenihu.
Nick Bolton as well.
They're good players, but they're not superstars. But he gets them in position where they need to be. And he just knows. It's like he knows what the other team's going to do. And Buffalo was so predictable. I could not believe it. I don't know how many times I said, yelling at the TV, why are they doing the same play over and over and over again? You've got to do something different. Come on. And, the referees didn't play a hand in this game. You can't say they did, like you said earlier. Just that one call, but like I said, could have went either way. Seen that a million times.
Yeah, I mean, I get being upset over officiating and the favoring of the Chiefs, but going on social media, or last night after the game, the amount of stuff people posted to try to find. I saw a couple people post Patrick Mahomes walking on the field with the play clock and game clock almost matched up, but the play clock was a little bit. So it was 2-minute warning. It goes 2:01, play clock at 0, then the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
And they're like, Mahomes gets away without a delay of game, and I'm like, if that was Josh Allen, they're giving him that too. Any other quarterback's getting that.
Yeah, it has to be it was like a half-second difference, and there has to be like a full second. Then they look up at the clock, and then they call it. They're not
the amount of people rooting for the Bills that it's not even just Bills fans that are saying that yesterday's game was fixed and they called in the refs. I am getting tired of. I mean, Josh Allen, he plays amazing in these games, but the Bills seem to shoot themselves in the foot every single year. Doesn't McDermott call the defense? Why is the defense? The defense is just ruining. It seems like they're the reason they lose to the playoffs. He's lost to Mahomes not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times, and I'd say in every single one of those games Allen has played against Mahomes, he has played phenomenal.
He's played really well. Like I said yesterday, he played good. Like I said, it wasn't his greatest game, but he certainly played good enough to win. Some of those throws he made on 4th down in the touchdown and all that, those were unbelievable throws.
When Spagnuolo sent the house on 4th and 1, the fact that Allen, or the fourth down on the last drive for them, when Allen got that almost to Kincaid, oh my goodness. I was like, how in the world did he get that there? He gave his team a chance, but I do want to say one thing though. I hate to get back to the refs, but there was a flag, and then it got picked up mysteriously.
I don't know if there was a flag. Was there a flag or not?
It showed a flag, and then they said there was no flag, and I'm like, I think I saw them throw a flag. Like, it was weird, but either way, that's a pass Kincaid has to come down with. I'm not gonna harp on him too much.
It was hard. It was a tough catch, but if you want to beat them, you got to make those kind of plays.
Yeah, I'm not gonna harp on him too much. That's a tough catch to make. I mean, that's a catch you can make. It's not the easiest catch in the world, though.
No, it's a 50-50 one, I guess. Maybe a little more 60-40, I don't know, but it's a catch that he could make, like you said, but you said you can't kill him on it because he had to go back to it and dive and excuse me, but it's just in order to beat Kansas City, you have to have plays like that because Mahomes, they don't make mistakes. He just finds a way, and they did it again. I don't know. Buffalo, in order to beat this team, I mean, I don't know what it's going to take for them to beat them. Their defense, hasn't been great all year, so I guess we shouldn't be surprised. They did have a couple injuries, a couple guys out.
Yep.
But even so, I don't think it would have made a difference. Kyer Elam was getting torched there.
Yeah, but if you have him on the field, that's not good.
I know Benford got concussed again, but I mean, maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. I mean, other than Worthy, nobody on that team really did a lot. It was more Mahomes' running that did it.
Yeah.
And, they ran the ball okay. They didn't run the ball great. I mean, Buffalo had more offensive yards in the game, not by a lot, but it's just it was a very even game. It's just Mahomes, when things are on the line, he makes the play every time.
I see these Bills excuses a lot, but I think I've been thinking about this so much. I'm like, I see Bills versus refs or la la la. I'll be like, great, go show that to a Texans fan. I'm sure they'll laugh right in your face. I mean, they got screwed more than anybody.
I think because the Chiefs have gotten these calls so much all year in these other games where it was obvious that they got the calls, I just think it carries over, so everybody just automatically goes to that.
Mm-hmm.
And look, they got the calls again, blah, blah, blah. And to me, it's even though the refs didn't give them the call, I mean, the refs didn't do anything wrong. It just seems like it always breaks their way. Yeah. Even when deservedly so, it should have broke their way on that play because of Buffalo's ineptitude. It just always breaks their way. So people get sick of it over and over again. So, that's what happens. But as far as this game, if you look at this game on its own and forget about all the other games where they did get all the calls this year, you can't say the refs did anything in this game.
Yeah, that's for sure. It was a great game, though. That was a good game.
I just hope the Super Bowl is as good as that game. I think it will be. I think it'll be a good game.
I don't really think. I mean, obviously it's KC and Philly, but I'm actually kind of excited for this Super Bowl. Like, everybody else says they're bored or it's a boring Super Bowl because we've seen it already. But I mean, we didn't see this Saquon Barkley go against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm kind of excited for that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm rooting against Kansas City. I'm going to root for Philadelphia. I don't know what my pick will be yet, but yeah, I mean, everybody wanted to see different team in there. I don't think people cared if Philly was in there. They just didn't want to see Kansas City there. And, Buffalo would have been a great story. Or, had Detroit made it, that would have been a great story. I think people just wanted to see something different instead of Kansas City again. and Philadelphia. We've seen twice in the last 6-7 years. So, but I think once it gets closer, people will start getting back into it, and all these people that don't want to see Kansas City will start to get on that. I'm rooting against Kansas City bandwagon, and that it's a Super Bowl. You got to watch it, right? I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's the last football game until next September that means anything, and it's a long time. So, it's 8 months. Well, 7 months maybe, but so it's the Super Bowl. I mean, sometimes the Super Bowl is a letdown because this past weekend was probably I always consider championship weekend the last big weekend of football, because the Super Bowl is more of an event, a spectacle, as much as it is a game, because you got all the halftime stuff, you got all the build up all day, you got all the halftime stuff, all the pageantry, all the celebrities, all that stuff. So it's not. It's not the same.
I think I don't know if I'll get a biased answer here from you or not, but it brings me to the debate. Do you think the Monday after the Super Bowl, kids should get off of school?
If I can get the day off from work, I'll go with it. But
honestly, if they make it a U.S. holiday or something like that.
There's always been talk that President's Weekend is in February, and I think it's probably the following weekend after that. I'm not positive. They're talking about, going to a 18-game schedule soon. Goodell's already mentioned it. They're talking about last week or whatever. So there's a chance that it gets pushed out even more. There was always talk about, President's Weekend, weekday, Monday is the Monday in February, that Super Bowl should be the day before that, so a lot of people have the holidays and there's no school and all that. So
yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. There's always those people that say, "Why isn't it on Saturday? That way we can." But football has to be on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl Saturday isn't the same thing. I want Super Bowl Sunday. It's always been on Sunday. It has to stay on Sunday. That's when football is played. Sunday.
You're right.
But yeah, having the Monday off, I have no problem with that whatsoever.
I do want to just bring up that Ohio State is the champions. I don't know if we went over it yet already, but man, I am beyond. I'm just at a loss for words. If you ask me, I'm sure I've got asked this question after they lost to Michigan. If you asked me, hey, do you think Ohio State has a chance of winning the championship? I would probably tell you, you're crazy. We are going to get smoked, probably not by Tennessee, but by Oregon. Man, Ryan Day did a great job getting these guys together, and just getting them together and, I don't know, coming together as a team. You saw a lot of faith. You saw a lot of teamwork here. And this was a very fun team to watch in the playoffs, and I'm glad they got it done.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. That was last Monday. Mm-hmm. Kind of a long week in between podcasts and the championship game. Yeah, that was it was a pretty good game. We both kind of felt like Ohio State was going to win. The Michigan game galvanized that team.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much the Michigan. I think it was more to do with what happened after the game. The flag planting galvanized that team. I think if Michigan just goes off the field and goes and celebrates in the locker room, I don't know if Ohio State makes this run. Because I think that got them fired up. That got them fired up to say, look what this team just did to us. We're better than that. Let's go prove, that we are what we're supposed to be. I think that flag planting and that whole big ruckus after that Michigan game just set the whole thing in motion for them to go on and win that championship game. I mean, a lot of people thought they were the best team before the season started, that, they're right up there. And so it's not a shocker that they won, but after that Michigan game, it turned into a shocker because of what you saw there. So, great accomplishment, obviously. I really didn't think they had the quarterback to do it, but he played great in the playoffs. It's like, where was that all season? Now there's talk of him getting drafted and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if I go that far. I don't know if he's really that good or if he just had a nice
Howard?
I don't know if he's good or if he just had a nice run, you know? I don't really know, I guess.
He's gonna get drafted, but I don't think too high. But he'll get drafted.
He'll get an opportunity. He'll get a chance to maybe prove himself. You know, he's going to be a later round.
Cleveland Browns maybe stay in Ohio. But yeah, this was a very good win, and it was a very good story to watch in the playoffs. Yeah, I really I give credit to Notre Dame though. This was a team that I don't know. They had a lot of adversity, and they weren't winning games by a good amount. They beat Indiana. They beat Georgia. They had a tough path. Penn State as well. I tip my cap to Notre Dame. Ohio State was the better team, but they fought hard in the second half. I'll give them that.
Both these teams had hard roads. They both played really good. All three teams that they played before, both teams were very good. And, yeah, Notre Dame, they probably had the worst loss of anybody in the season. They lost to Northern Illinois, and that was kind of their turning point that galvanized them to go on. They didn't lose again after that.
I'll tell you,
this game.
Jeremiah Smith might be one of the best freshman wide receivers I've ever seen play college football. I don't mean to be biased. I mean, I've just never seen a freshman take the opportunity of playing D1 football at a great school and just performing this well.
The only one that comes to mind to me this well was Julio Jones when he went to Alabama.
Yeah, he was
a phenom like Smith. But yeah, he's right there with him though. I mean, I've never seen anybody with that kind of body. It's like he's kind of like, you know how LeBron James was like a man when he came out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a man, and that's how this guy is. He's like he's 30 years old. He's got that kind of body. He's like doesn't have that 18-year-old body. He's just, he's got a 25-year-old body, and he's just ready. It's too bad that he can't go pro because that's where he belongs.
I know, isn't it? He would probably be a top 5 pick. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he definitely would be. He might even be who's going number 1 this year?
I would say Titans have the pick, so Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter.
He might have been the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Man, but yeah, this is a great it was a great postseason, though, for the running game, too. This game was Judkins' game. The Texas game, Trevion Henderson played well. The whole playoffs, this running back room with Judkins and Henderson.
I mean, look at that. You got Judkins is a pro. Howard's going to get drafted. Trevion Henderson's a pro. Abuka's probably a first-round pro, maybe second round. Smith, if he wasn't a freshman, would be a pro. Guys on defense are going pro.
Yeah. A lot of people on that defense. Sawyer, Lathan Ransom, Tuamailoto. Oh, my goodness.
Caleb Downs is only a sophomore. He would be going pro.
Yeah.
I think he's only a sophomore.
I forget that. I forget that he is young, too. He was only a freshman last year, freshman of the year.
Yeah.
This is a very good team. This is too good of a team to not make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I always thought that Howard was going to be the reason they didn't, but he proved me wrong big time. So.
Oh yeah. We'll go into plays of the week. Coming from Chiefs and Bills. Mahomes takes a snap, looking, throwing. He's got Worthy. He's got a diving touchdown. The Chiefs get in with their speedy rookie from Texas University.
Chiefs take the lead again.
Worthy, I think they've found their new Tyreek Hill sort of player right here.
Yes, he's going to be there a while.
Here's the Eagles on 1st and 10. It's Barkley's first carry this game, and he's got running room. Spins. Barkley is free. Can you believe it? You better. Saquon Barkley's first touch is a Philadelphia Eagles touchdown.
How many guys had a chance to tackle him? About 6. Nobody could get him down.
Oh, my goodness.
Those 2 there. They had him twice. Another guy there. And that was it.
His home run ability is crazy. Here's Allen. He's rolling. Pitches it to Cook. What an effort. Touchdown, Bills. James Cook doesn't give up on the play and gets in for the end zone.
Another 4th down play. I thought he was going to be stopped, but he stretches out and gets that ball in there. Looked like he was going to be stopped, but no, he gets it in.
Coming from Maryland and Indiana, it's off to Rodney Rice. Shoots the 3. Got it! Rodney Rice is going to win this game for the Maryland Terrapins. The shot after is no good. Rebound Maryland. What a shot from Rodney Rice.
What a big-time play. Some early excitement in the NCAA.
Well, Dad, that will be it for today's podcast, but we're only going to do one this week. Who was your biggest disappointment and your biggest performer?
Yeah, my biggest disappointment is the Washington Commanders defense. They got manhandled by the Eagles. And my top performer, geez, that's a tough one. As much as I hate to do it, I'm going to have to go with Patrick Mahomes. Once again, he gets his team to the Super Bowl. Let's hope this is the last one for a while.
Let's see. My biggest disappointment is a tough one this week. Geez. There's nothing really. For my biggest disappointment, I guess I'm going to go with the Bills' defense. It's not a very good defense, but, man, they just could not hold up against Patrick Mahomes. And then my biggest performer is obviously going to be Saquon Barkley. He has taken that Eagles team to new levels, and he's got him in the Super Bowl, chance to play for the biggest trophy of them all, Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, I agree. He might be the difference maker. They didn't have him 2 years ago when they played Kansas City, and now they have that home run guy. Let's see if that's the difference.
Well, thank you for watching today's podcast. I'm Preston, once again with my father, Mike, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Goodbye.